Jeju Air Flight 7C2216 on December 29, 2024. On December 29, 2024, Jeju Air Flight 7C2216, a Boeing 737-800, crash-landed at Muan International Airport in southwestern South Korea, resulting in the deaths of 179 people out of the 181 on board. This devastating incident has sparked a flurry of speculation and concern as aviation experts and authorities try to piece together what went wrong. Early reports pointed to a possible bird strike, but experts have raised doubts, highlighting several anomalies surrounding the event. In this video, we'll break down the top 3 theories behind the crash, examining the facts, expert opinions, and the ongoing investigation. One of the first explanations put forward by authorities was a possible bird strike that led to the crash. According to reports, a warning of a bird strike was issued by the control tower shortly before the plane declared a mayday and began its emergency landing attempt. The South Korean authorities have suggested that a bird strike, or possibly bad weather, might have played a role in the accident. However, this theory has been met with skepticism from aviation experts. Video footage from the scene showed the plane belly landing with no visible landing gear deployed, sliding down the runway at high speed before crashing into a wall and exploding into flames. Bird strikes are common, but they typically don't cause the kind of catastrophic failure that would prevent an aircraft's landing gear from deploying, said Jeffrey Thomas. Australian aviation consultant Jeffrey Dell also questioned the plausibility of the bird strike theory. "I've never seen a bird strike prevent the landing gear from being extended," Dell said. "Even if a bird strike had occurred, it would not typically prevent an aircraft from making a successful belly landing." In addition, conditions at the time of the incident were clear and sunny, casting further doubt on the weather-related explanation. As Jeffrey Thomas emphasized, this is a very perplexing situation, given that the weather was ideal and the aircraft involved, the Boeing 737-800, is one of the most reliable planes in service. Given the visible malfunction of the landing gear, many experts are now focusing on the possibility of a mechanical failure or system malfunction. The Boeing 737-800, a highly regarded and widely used aircraft, had reportedly shown no signs of issues prior to departure, according to Jeju Air's CEO Kim Yi-bai. However, the failure of the landing gear to deploy on such a crucial moment raises serious questions about the plane's mechanical systems. In this scenario, experts suspect a problem with the hydraulic system or the landing gear mechanisms themselves. Hydraulic systems are responsible for deploying the landing gear and flaps during flight and landing, and a malfunction in these systems could have led to the failure to extend the landing gear. If the landing gear failed to deploy at all, the aircraft would have had no choice but to perform a belly landing. David Susi, a former FAA safety inspector, noted that mechanical issues could explain the strange behavior of the aircraft. The fact that the aircraft failed to decelerate after landing and slid so far down the runway is highly unusual, Susi said. Normally, when an aircraft belly lands, the engines and braking systems would slow the plane down, and emergency services would immediately be on the runway to deal with any potential fire risks. It's also worth noting that the crash occurred at a well-maintained airport under dry and sunny conditions, further ruling out any external factors like weather. The plane's failure to decelerate and the subsequent delay in fire response have led some experts to suggest that there may have been multiple technical failures that contributed to the crash. While technical malfunctions and bird strikes are major areas of concern, experts have also raised the possibility of human error or pilot distraction playing a role in the crash. Investigations are still ongoing, and the cockpit voice recorder and flight data recorder black boxes have been recovered, but the information from these devices has not yet been made public. Jeffrey Dell and Trevor Jensen, another aviation consultant, both emphasized the need to examine the behavior of the flight crew in the minutes leading up to the crash. One concerning factor is the aircraft's landing speed and its failure to decelerate. The fact that the plane continued to slide at high speed after hitting the runway suggests that something went wrong in the cockpit. In the case of Flight 7C2216, there are reports that the pilots declared a mayday shortly after receiving a bird strike warning, and then attempted an emergency landing. The question remains whether the pilots were able to effectively assess the situation and respond quickly enough, or if they were overwhelmed by the multiple failures occurring simultaneously. The control tower had instructed the pilots to change course to land in the opposite direction to avoid potential bird strikes, and the pilots followed this instruction. 1 minute later, they declared a mayday. This timeline suggests that the flight crew had time to react, but it's unclear whether they were able to handle the rapidly deteriorating situation. Pilot fatigue, stress, or confusion could have contributed to their decision-making. While it's important not to jump to conclusions about human error without all the facts, aviation experts often point out that multiple factors, including external conditions, technical failures, and human judgment, can combine to create a dangerous situation. At this stage, the investigation is ongoing, with authorities focusing on several key areas. Investigators are examining the black box data, including the flight data recorder and cockpit voice recorder, to piece together a clear timeline of events. They are also looking into the possible failure of the landing gear and whether any mechanical malfunctions occurred during the flight. South Korean authorities have emphasized that it's too early to speculate on the cause of the crash, with experts like David Susi warning against premature conclusions. Speculation is the worst enemy of an investigator, he said. The investigation will likely take months, if not longer, to determine the full cause of the tragedy. Jeju Air has expressed its condolences to the families of the victims, and Boeing, the aircraft's manufacturer, has offered its full support to the investigation. While the Boeing 737-800 has an excellent safety record, this tragedy has raised important questions about what can go wrong in the aviation industry and how future accidents can be prevented. The crash of Jeju Air Flight 7C2216 is a complex and tragic event that has left the aviation world searching for answers. While theories of a bird strike, mechanical failure, and pilot error all seem plausible, the true cause remains unclear as the investigation unfolds. What we do know is that this is a reminder of how many variables are at play in ensuring the safety of air travel, and how vital it is to conduct thorough investigations to uncover the truth behind aviation disasters. If you liked this breakdown of the Jeju Air Flight 7C2216 crash and want to stay updated on aviation news and investigations, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel for more in-depth analyses. We'll continue to cover this story as new details emerge. Thanks for watching.